Before my mother got sick, I actually did not have a relationship with my father. We didn't have a really close relationship. My mother was my person. When she became sick, it forced me to create a relationship with my father. Because at that he was point the only time I had a mental conversation with my mother at her bedside. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, I don't want you hanging around. This is too painful for me to see. If you're hanging around because you think we need you, I can tell you we don't need you. I'm good. My brother's good. We'll look after our father. Don't hang around because of us. It's so painful when that man who's always been your rock, like the strongest person, you feel safe when this man is around. And you hear him go into the bathroom and sob. Oh. Because he can't do anything about the situation.
Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone. Guess what? We're back with the Sandwich Years. And for those of you who are first time dialing in or just watching, dialing in. Sandwich Years is about caregivers, pretty much. It's people who are given at the top. Top one could be an elderly parent, could be any sort of elder, could be an aunt. Or you're also giving at the dependent level. So you possibly have some children at any age, as well as potentially some pets, but you're giving. And then you also are yourself. And most of the times in the Sandwich Years, you're not really thinking about yourself much. However, we do know that it's important. So that's what the Sandwich Years is about. So I have a friend with me. Her name's Zehra. Zehra, if you can tell everybody who you are and all that fun stuff.
Okay, fun stuff. I am the eldest, the oldest child. You know what that means?
Oh, I know what that means.
Yeah. I'm the oldest child. I have 2 children of my own. I also have 3 fur babies.
3!
3. Yeah.
Okay, so you are definitely squeezed and blessed.
Yes.
And then do you also work? Like, what do you do?
Yes. I actually hold down 2 roles. One, a corporate job and my own business. So it gets to be a lot. And I'm a single mom. So I don't have anyone to lean on. And what made it a lot worse for me is the fact that I don't have any family in Canada. I'm a fresh off the boat immigrant.
Okay. And where did you come from?
I came from Pakistan in 2002. And and then one thing after another, you know how life happens.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about how life happens. So tell us about, so you immigrated here with the 2 children?
With the 2, one was born here.
Okay, and so one was born here as well. And so with that said, you have parents?
Yes.
So let's talk about the parent side. We're going to talk about the top one first.
Yeah, so parents, my mother got sick first. And she developed Alzheimer's or some form of dementia, which they couldn't really pinpoint what was going on with her.
Okay.
And
this was in Pakistan?
She was in Pakistan, and I would talk to her and I would notice that something's off with her. But when I talked to my brother or my father, I guess because they saw her every day, they couldn't tell the difference. But I could tell the difference because that was the time before we had cell phones and it was easy to just call someone and have a video chat. I was actually picking up the phone and calling. And I could feel that she wasn't all there.
Okay.
But they couldn't see it yet. So when she came to visit me, when my son was born, I had her checked here in Canada.
Okay.
And that's when we figured out that she's got some form of dementia. But then she went back home and had all her tests done there.
Okay. And so when she's coming here and getting tested, obviously she's not covered.
No.
So you had to pay for all that.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's your mom, so you'll pay.
Well, of course. And I wanted to find out I knew that something's going on.
Okay.
So nobody would listen to me. So I needed to have proof.
And that's normally what happens with dementia as well. If you some people who see them on a regular will get it, but when you don't see them on a regular, you can
see the difference. It's more pronounced.
Because she couldn't remember certain things?
She wasn't herself, if you know what I mean. She wasn't behaving like the same person that I knew that I said goodbye to and came to Canada.
Okay.
And so I knew something's off, but I didn't know what, because I could have a conversation with her and she would remember a lot of stuff, but she was doing things like she'd leave the tap running, like if she washes her hand, the tap's running. She wouldn't put it right.
Okay.
So there were some behavioral issues going on, or I would say something to her and she would stop mid-sentence and not complete the sentence.
And you were attentively listening, so that's when you're like,
yeah,
finish.
What's going on?
Yes.
Right?
Whereas if they're normally talking, they might interrupt and then finish the sentence for her.
Yeah. So I knew something's off. But when I spoke to my father, he would just say, oh, she's just getting old. Stop worrying about it. There's nothing wrong with her. She's fine. She's just getting old.
Okay.
But no, this is not getting old.
So how old was she about?
Well, she was, that's where it was worrisome, because she was just 60.
Okay. So it was early.
She wasn't,
Okay.
She wasn't that old. So that's why I said to my father, no, she's not old.
Something's up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we test her here. We send her back. Your heart's kind of sitting there.
Oh my goodness, yes. And those days I was visiting back home 3 times a year.
Because you wanted to make sure.
Well, you know how it is. I think it's worse when you're far away. The guilt factor is so much bigger, is that my mother's sick. She's so precious to me. She's my best friend, and I can't be there for her. I have chills now thinking about it. But it's like, this is when she needs me and I can't be there for her. Mm-hmm. So I would go 2-3 times a year to visit her.
Okay. And you did what you could do.
That's right. And what I could do was pester my father and my brother to look after her.
Awesome. And so was she home, or did they?
She was home.
Okay.
There's no way in hell. I mean, hell literally has to freeze over before in our culture that our parents would end up in any kind of nursing facility.
Okay. Okay. And so is there like PSW help or stuff like that? Or no, you would get...
There's no PSW help. There's no funding at the government level for any kind of assistance. So we have to hire our own. So we hired our own nursing staff.
Okay, which is good.
Yeah.
And you over online, like phone calling, you could get involved in that process. So you tried to get involved in as much process as you could, right?
Yes.
So as a tip to anybody who has elderly or has parents that are away, see how you can engage far away.
Yeah, it's you just have to stay on top of, okay, she had a doctor's visit. What did the doctor say? What medication can she take? What is going on?
So you can still be involved.
I think you can be involved. But here's the thing, Chantal. Before my mother got sick, I actually did not have a relationship with my father.
Okay.
He was my father, but we didn't have a really close relationship. My mother was my person.
Okay.
Okay. And so when she became sick, it forced me to create a relationship with my father, because he was the only person. He was her 24-hour companion and caregiver. He was the only one who could actually tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. So that was the blessing that came out of it.
Okay.
Is that, all my life, I had never had a relationship with him. And now we started bonding and building a relationship because we had a common goal. She was our common goal.
And that can come out from this kind of a relationship and being in the sandwich years.
Yeah.
You're going to find different people that you have to lean on in your family.
Yes.
And some of it, you fight it, and some don't fight it, because it's actually going to help you through the process.
It's hard.
Yeah. Okay. So mom has dementia. You go back and forth to visit, and then...
So then she declined. Once she was diagnosed, she declined very quickly.
Okay. And
she was gone within 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. It was very fast decline.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. So then once that happened, so you go for the funeral?
No, I didn't.
You couldn't?
No, I actually had gone. So this is where my training comes in as someone who is a coach and an emotional coach. I coach people with their emotions. So when I went to visit her, and I saw at that point in time, she could not do anything. She couldn't speak. She was in bed. She couldn't move. at that point in time, I had a mental conversation with my mother at her bedside.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, I don't want you hanging around. This is too painful for me to see. If you're hanging around because you think we need you, I can tell you we don't need you. I'm good. My brother's good. We'll look after our father. Don't hang around because of us. I would much rather you made your transition than you hang on. Let go, let God. And I returned to Canada. I knew I wasn't going to see her again.
Mm-hmm.
And I returned to Canada, and 2 days later, she was in the hospital, and then 5 days later, she was gone.
So if somebody was in a similar situation, what kind of suggestions would you have for them to kind of get through?
I think the hardest thing is this person is so precious. But you have to let them go. Because energetically, what I work with is energy. And energetically, we don't want them to go. And because we don't want them to go, they don't want to go. Because they don't want to hurt us even more. Because they come from this point of view, even though it seems like they're not understanding or they're not aware of what's going on, but the soul part of them is aware of what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so your conversation at that point is not with the conscious person, it's with the soul of that person. To say that I would much rather not have you go through this painful experience because you want to be there for me, because you think I'm going to be so hurt when you make your transition. But it's every day hurts, because for me, it's like every day my mother's dying.
Yeah.
Right? That is way worse because there's no closure. I can't get over it. And the worst part about the whole experience was watching what it did to my father. Because he was the man, you see.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
in my culture, and I think in many culture, men don't show a softer, weaker side to their personality, especially that generation of man.
Yep.
Like, I know my son is different.
Mm-hmm.
I know like younger generations, they're different.
They're showing more emotion,
they're showing
somewhat.
Exactly. But my father,
They have to be the rock.
they have to be the rock. So it's so painful when that man who's always been your rock, like the strongest person, you feel safe when this man is around, and you hear him go into the bathroom and sob.
Oh.
Because he can't do anything about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
That is just heart-wrenching to see that happen. And so it was difficult because it was eating away at all of us. We were going through that experience alongside her.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to let that person go, but you have to let that person go.
Yeah. Yep.
And
allow them to go. Let them know that you're going to be okay.
That's right.
And I think it to your point, it does create that closure. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I've been through it with my mom. Like it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, if you have to go, it's time for you to go.
Yes.
I'm going to be fine.
Yes.
You'll see me on the other side is pretty much it.
Exactly. But we have to do that mental work, right? We have to do that emotional work.
Yeah.
To say, okay, it's time.
Yeah. No. Okay. So mom is gone now. And so now dad.
So dad now cannot be left alone because, through this whole experience, his health has deteriorated.
Yep.
And to be honest, my mother always used to say that he, like my father used to say he would go first because he was older than her. Plus, he had so many health situations. He had asthma, he had a heart condition. So it was always like he's going to be the one who goes first.
Yeah.
So his health really suffered because he was there.
And he probably also wasn't taking care of himself.
Exactly. 24/7, he was with her. He was the person
Yep.
that was in charge of her care.
And that's one of the things that we always have to remember. There's survivor. Like if there's partners,
Yeah.
like great for the funeral, everything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But what about after?
Well,
They're the
that's
ones who feel lonely. There's the one who are sitting
and
there.
there was the problem, because both my brother and I were overseas at that, at that point in time, we had both left Pakistan. He was in Saudi Arabia, I was in Canada. And now it was like, we can't leave him alone there because he has his own health situations. So what are we going to do? How are we going to manage it? And really, Canada says that we keep families together, but I wasn't able to sponsor him to bring him here because our immigration laws changed. And when you're over a certain age, then you're a liability for the health system. And you know that OHIP is already struggling, right? Every year they take stuff away that was previously covered by OHIP is no longer covered with OHIP.
Yeah.
So they just don't want to give older people OHIP.
Yep.
So they came up with this new thing called the super visa, meaning parents can come and visit and stay, but they can't get a PR card, so they can't get OHIP.
Okay. So he could come, he can
So he
stay, but health-wise, that's
No
all
coverage.
fine. No coverage. So it's all money.
No coverage. And the super visa requirement is that you must obtain health insurance from a health insurance provider. That's not that's not cheap.
No.
It is in fact prohibitively expensive.
Okay.
And on top of that, it doesn't cover any pre-existing conditions.
Well, that's true. That is very true. It won't because and he already had a list of them.
Exactly.
So you already knew he was coming in and he needed health care.
So we just had to get the insurance because it was a requirement of his visa, but we knew that the insurance is not going to pay for anything should anything happen to him.
Okay. So he did come.
He did come.
Okay.
And he stayed with me for 2 years.
Okay. 3 years.
2 years.
2 years. Okay. And how was that? How old were the kids at this point?
My goodness, I don't even remember. Very young. Very young.
So you were pretty much in the thick of the sandwich years because you're taking care of him, working.
Yes.
Because you're working corporate.
Both kids were in school.
Both. So you were juggling back and forth. Could he even help you take care of the kids or no?
Oh, no. We had to take care of him. He couldn't.
No.
And besides, living in Pakistan is a whole different world.
Okay.
Okay. You have an army of household help, domestic help.
Okay.
You just order them around. You don't actually do anything yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's fair. But when you come here, you can't bring them with you.
No. So,
and then to find that army here, you have to pay.
My father could probably make tea for himself, but that's where it stops.
Okay. And that's how he grew up, and that's how and he's accustomed to that living.
You're not going to tell someone 80 years old to start learning how to cook.
Okay. So and that's reality. Yeah. And for many, that's reality.
So he's not going to help with anything.
He's not. So it's
and
you.
Also his health was, when I remember when my father came to live with me, his I forget what the test is now because it's been so many years, but he had only 11% functionality in his heart.
Okay.
Right? So he could only walk 3 or 4 yards and then he'd be out of breath.
Yeah.
He couldn't
he's not picking the kids up from school. He's not doing anything like that.
But that again is a problem because I'm working 2 jobs. I have my corporate job and I have my business. So I had to make a decision because he was alone all day. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the children will come and they'll hug him and they'll sit down maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes because they're being nice. Okay. And then they'll be gone because they have their own thing to do. So he was lonely.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I made a decision. I made the decision to leave my corporate job.
Okay. Because it could give you some flexibility.
Because I wasn't going to be able to be with him or look after him. And that would make him miserable as well as me miserable. So I resigned my corporate job and I started working from home, building my own business.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was it was emotionally the right decision to make. Financially, it was the worst decision to make, because I was a single mom, so I had no one else to lean on. And now this whole income was gone. So emotionally, I was better off. Financially, I was way worse off.
Okay, so what do we do to help? So in that situation, and there are probably many people in this situation currently, what suggestions do you have for people? Like, what did you do? Well, first, let's see, what did you do? And then say what suggestions you would have for others.
Oh, I cried for help. That's what I did. Thankfully, touch wood somewhere, I have a very, very good brother.
Okay.
Like
family.
Oh, my goodness. And so he totally knew my situation, and I told him that I need his help to look after my father. Mm-hmm. So then we started doing, like, my father would go over and stay with him.
Okay.
And then he would come back and stay with me.
In Canada or Saudi Arabia?
In Canada.
In Canada. Okay.
So Canada, Saudi Arabia. Now this is going on.
Okay.
He can only stay with me 6 months, and then 6 months over there.
In Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And then he'd come back and forth.
And then he would have to go to Pakistan, because you have to go to your home country before you can go again.
Yes, I forgot about that. That lovely thing about checking in to make sure you keep your status, right? If you don't check in, you can lose your status in any country. So you're going to have to make sure.
So you got to touch home base and then travel again. So for him, with his health situation, the travel part was
a lot.
It was exhausting for him. His legs would balloon up, his feet and his legs, like the air. It's in those days, it was a 22-hour trip getting to Pakistan.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he had to do it.
He had to do it.
Okay. So we're fast forwarding a little bit. So he's doing that, and we got siblings. So if anything, if you have siblings or family, period, make sure you're telling them what's going on, because they can actually come and help you. Mm-hmm. Keeping it a secret, not even keeping it a secret, trying to be proud about it. Like, it doesn't serve, right?
No,
it doesn't serve, because it's all hands on deck.
Well, I'll tell you something. What it was doing to me was, it was making me an irritable person.
Okay.
Because I had at that point in time, I think my son was maybe 8 years old. 6 or 8, that age. So he was elementary school.
Yeah.
And, I didn't put him in any activities because I couldn't just manage doing that.
Yeah.
But it was about looking after these different age groups and do the work and have to go out and hunt for business and do all the housework, right? And then cook and make sure that if I'm going on an appointment, I have to make sure there's food already laid out for him on the kitchen counter, and he just has to go and heat it up.
So you're working on overdrive pretty much. Yeah. Like, you're just literally going like this. And I think there's all of us, like a lot of us in the sandwich years, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so there has to be a pause, or there has to be people that you go and look for.
So I'll tell you what I did.
Okay.
Because I realized that I needed to just get away.
Okay.
Like I felt like if I don't get away, I feel like I'm going to explode on someone who doesn't deserve it. Mm-hmm. And so at that point in time, by that time, my daughter started university, and she moved to Toronto because trains were like, we didn't have the train system we do today. So I got her a little bachelor apartment in Toronto for school.
Okay.
And when I realized that I'm reaching this burnout point, I told my daughter, you need to come home and look after your grandfather for 3 days, long weekend. Okay. And I'm going to go and stay in your bachelor.
I like that. So it's like swapping. You need a break.
Yes. And I didn't have the money to go to a hotel or go to a retreat or whatever. The only thing I could think of doing was, okay, you come stay here because he needs swap. And that gave me a break. Otherwise, I tell you, I would not have made it through. I would have landed being sick, completely burnt out, and become a horrible person in the process.
Okay.
Because I had so much stress
it was heavy
on me, I just was not able to deal with it.
So note to self, advice for everyone.
Self-care.
Self-care. take a break.
Take a break. You
and
have
figure
to.
it out. And it doesn't have to equate to money. It could just be figure out if you can swap, if you can, but not even take a break. Make sure you kind of can get yourself
Exactly. Go live with a friend if you have to, but get away from your life.
Okay.
Because, see, the concept here is you have to get away from your life. You need a break from your life.
Everything.
Everything.
But
you need to
note
leave
to self,
everyone.
you made sure everything was organized so that you could take a proper break.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is just take off.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to take a break because
No,
you're going to be
'cause
worried
you're
about
worried
what
about-
everything else is
So you have
going
to
on.
put a system into place.
Okay.
Make sure, and not go so far away that if they need you, you can't come back.
Okay. Because that's going to also cause you angst.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So take a break, self-care.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just went there. I watched movies. I went for long walks. I ate out. I didn't cook. You know, like even the cooking.
Yeah.
And my father is
Picky?
well, he's not picky. He'll eat anything, but you need to cook fresh, and it has to be home cooked.
And to be quite honest, a lot of I would say ethnic people, or not even like immigrants, that's how it is. Like they don't. You tell my dad to eat McDonald's, he start laughing at me. He'd be like, "McDonald's? What are you talking about?" He's like, "I need this. You need to cook me this." Yeah.
And then he would have those requests. Actually, Chantal, he would say to me, "Can you make this?" Now he doesn't understand. For me to make this,
5 grocery stores.
well, yes. And in those days, like this is like a long time ago now, there were no ethnic food stores in Oshawa at all. That was a time when if I needed anything ethnic, there was a limited supply in Ajax and Pickering. Otherwise, I had to go to Mississauga. Yeah.
Not even Toronto.
No, because I moved here from Mississauga.
You know where the places are.
I know Mississauga.
And we revert to what we know quick because that's what's going to happen,
exactly.
right? So great nuances, great learning. I think at the end of the day, sometimes you're so in it that you don't recognize that sometimes you need a break so that you can come back refreshed. So when you come back refreshed, but then you also put in some things in place so that you can actually still breathe and things like that. Okay, so fast forward a little bit more. Does he stay here? Does he pass here?
No. So when he got to a situation, my father didn't like the Canadian medical health system anyway. And so one of the discussions I always used to have with him was, he would say, "Oh, what's going to happen to me if I get sick and I need to be hospitalized?" And I would say to him, if you need to be hospitalized on the day that you go to the hospital, if you're positive, then you'll have the worst doctor in the hospital will be having his most brilliant day. And if you are negative, the best doctor in the world will be having his worst possible day. So just keep your mindset positive. But when my brother and I realized that my father was at that situation where he is going to need hospitalization and he's kind of nearing the end of his life, we took him back to Pakistan. My brother took him back.
Okay.
And then so he went back with my brother came, fetched him, went back to Pakistan with him, and he was gone in 10 days.
Oh, wow.
I didn't go.
You didn't go.
No.
But when when he left, you made peace. And you kind of talked.
Exactly.
You talked him through, gave him the biggest hug.
I had 2 kids and 3 fur babies. I couldn't have gone anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. You couldn't go, but also the way that you also, mindset-wise, you were just like, you know what, this is going to be the last time I see my dad.
You have to understand what your limits are, what your emotional limits are, what your other responsibility limits are, what your financial limits are.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of times emotionally we go beyond, and then we end up in a big hole. And I did end up in a very big hole, honestly, financially speaking, because I left my corporate job, and the business cannot suddenly make up for the loss of income.
Yeah.
So financially, it was, by the time everything was settled, and then I had started working on just digging myself out of debt and went back to corporate in order to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you will do what you need to
You-
do for
you
your
do.
family.
Exactly.
And then even going back to corporate, it's a steady paycheck. It's a steady.
Yeah. It was,
And then you left corporate again.
Again. Exactly.
When it served you, right? It
Exactly.
served you to help you through the
Exactly.
financial holes.
Exactly.
And then you go back to what
You
you
do
love.
what you have to do. Basically, you do what you have to do.
Okay. And so advice like that, those are key advice. So right now we have the 3 fur babies and the 2 kids. The kids are always going to, I don't care how old they are. I've
They're
talked
still
to
your
this.
kids.
They're still your kids. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, but I don't have young. No, they still call you. Don't they still?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you
Absolutely.
your
yeah.
heart is there. Like,
Absolutely.
and so they're older now, doing
They're
some
older
great
now.
things.
Yes, they are. I'm proud of them. They're both doing well. But yeah, we've been through some tough times.
Yeah. But you make it through the end.
Well, yes. And while you're going, I think one of the things is while you're going through it, you've got to be your own therapist. You've got to be your own coach. You've got to do your self-talk bit to help you to get through that. Because really no one can understand. You think people can understand, but nobody really can understand what you're going through, what your limitations are, what you've got going on. So you got to be strong and get through that period.
Yeah, there's a self strength that you need. There's definitely, though, the need to know that you're not going through this alone. We're all kind of going through different journeys, same sort of patterns, different journeys, but everybody has their own individual journey.
I think one of the things, Chantal, is yes, you're right. Everyone has their journey, but also you have to weigh in on the guilt factor. Okay, so there's guilt associated with not doing stuff, and there's guilt associated with caring for your parents and not caring for other stuff, So you just weigh which guilt feels.
So this is now we're talking about guilt. So there's also
which guilt is going to feel worse. Okay, so to me, the guilt of putting my career on hold, not looking after the kids as much, ignoring the house and what it needs, was lesser guilt than the guilt of not looking after my parents.
Yeah. And guilt, we laugh, but guilt is a vicious thing. There's guilt.
It is.
There's guilt is one emotion. The other emotion is, I would say, is mourning and sadness and all of that guilt. There's so many different emotions.
That hits you later. that one comes later.
That comes later.
Yeah, that one comes later.
There's a bag full of emotions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think some of the things that I want to make sure that we articulate as well is, while you're going through it, there are other people going through it. And your story is very similar to other stories. To your point, you've got to know your own
You've got to know
limits.
your own, yes.
And you have to understand your own.
Yes.
The other piece is...
And your cultural, needs, your parents' cultural needs.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And that's it. We all have this layer of caregiving. Then we have the layer of culture. And some things... culturally, we're not allowed to do, even though we're in Canada.
Yes,
very, very hard. Or some things that we have to forgive ourselves for doing from a cultural perspective as well, because you can't do it. But a lot of things in there, and I think what I want to also stress is help. Like, you can get help for yourself. Talk to people. Figure out also there's professional help. There obviously some help comes with a price tag. But sometimes the price tag is more important than yourself. Absolutely. And so you might have to pay to get PSW help, pay to get some sort of support, pay to potentially, if the need or them to go to a home, if it works for you. But there's a whole bunch of combinations of things that you need to look for.
I think for me, the bottom line criteria is having the ability to look back without regret.
Oh, yes. Okay. So talk to us about that.
That's it.
You have no regrets.
No regrets. I did what I had to do. I'm proud of myself and look back with no regrets.
Yeah. And it took time to have that, because I'll be honest, even for myself, I've had regrets. I had to sit there and I had to be okay with that. I had to forgive myself for not being able to do certain things for my parents.
Well, absolutely.
But in the midst of it, I was feeling pretty bad.
In the midst of it, the best thing you can do is to wake up in the morning and tell yourself, I just need to get through this one day.
So day by day.
Day by day. Because if you start thinking, how am I going to get through this month? That just creates more pressure. So to wake up and say, okay, just this one day, let's get through this one day. I think that's a really good strategy. But I'll tell you something, Chantal. The best thing that came out of it was because I had immigrated to Canada. My son was born here. He never got to know his grandparents. And when my father came to live with us, that's when my son especially, my daughter had already known her grandparents, but he got to experience his grandfather and hear all his stories.
Very nice.
And that was really special. And it would not have happened if he had not come to stay with me.
And that's the blessing, right? And
That's
I'm
a
sure
blessing.
there's so many other blessings. Like you have some really
absolutely.
good memories too. Even though some of it was hard,
Yes.
there were some memories. The fact that you
yeah.
could wake up and see him there.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that you went and visited, and even their smile or the memories that they have.
Yeah. And then, and for him, I think it was really special for him to experience the grandkids, which he wouldn't have had the opportunity if he'd stayed in Pakistan, right? So, yeah, lots of blessings, beautiful birthday celebration for his birthday. My brother came, his children were here. The whole family was together. So, yes,
Yeah.
lots of good memories were built as well. And I think that as a family, we came closer together. Me and my brother and my nephews and nieces and my sister-in-law and
Yep.
all of us, we bonded over this shared responsibility.
Yep. And I can agree with you 100%. Like that's similar for my side as well.
Yeah.
That's what we bonded on. And we made sure every birthday when it was something
Yeah.
that mattered.
Yeah, exactly.
And we celebrated them and
Yeah.
we made sure that we came together for those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
So no, that's the important things to
Yeah,
remember.
exactly.
You kind of forget about some of the stress a bit
yeah.
because you made it through. And it
Well-
made you a little stronger too.
It does. And then I think one of the biggest elements here is also what are the values we're passing on to our children? I think it's really important to pass that value system on to children to say that, your parents are important.
Yep.
It comes back full circle.
100%, because they're the ones who have to take care of us.
Exactly. Right. I'm thinking about myself.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's true. And it's so true
Yeah.
because they are watching.
They're watching.
A lot of the time,
Yes.
sometimes we forget. They see the relationship.
That's
they
right.
see you running back and
Yes.
forth and taking
Yes.
care of them.
Yes.
Then they also then know this is something to happen. Whereas I want to rewind a bit. I wasn't fortunate. Like I saw my grandmother, but I didn't meet my other grandparents. And so when I saw my mom taking care of my grandmother and
Yeah.
I saw the state of that, but I was
Exactly.
older. I was a lot
Exactly.
older.
Yeah.
Like my kids are seeing a lot more. Our kids are seeing a lot more when they were younger of us caregiving.
Yeah.
And so very, very good point. Like
Yeah.
the kids are watching.
Yeah. There's
I-
a value system that you're passing on.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to the forefront because sometimes we forget that they're totally watching us.
Absolutely. Every move.
Every move we make. Oh my God. Don't let me start
They're
singing.
watching.
They'll be watching you. Awesome. I want to thank you. Thank you for this. And honestly, if there's any last closing advice that you would give to somebody who's in the thick of things, also recognizing the cultural exchange as well as not even knowing that when they're away. So trying to bring them close to you, but sometimes you might even have to go there. Like any other last bit of advice?
I think my advice is going to be make decisions that you can live with and you know that you're going to look back on without any regret and be proud of who you became. Because everyone's different, everyone's situation is different. But that one thing, being the ability to look back without any regret, I feel that ability is important, and that should be the cornerstone for every decision that you make while you're going through that.
Yeah, I love that. And then also you said it before, your limits.
Yeah.
So if they're your limits,
Yeah.
keep your limits. And you did as much as you could do to your limit. If you go over, that's when you start.
That's where the regret comes in, right? So yeah, all of it. I think the regret factor, minimize your regret factor, and you will come out and be able to look back on it and find peace in your heart. Because if you have regrets, it's way harder to find peace. It's way harder to find closure.
Yeah, because you can't redo it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and thank you for sharing your story. So I have a feeling they're going to be like, bring her back. But yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time, and we'll hear from another guest. And I have a feeling she'll be back because I enjoyed this conversation very much. Thank you.